Hey, today I'm going to show you how you can make your own dyes using old foods which you might already have in the kitchen. I'm using a little bit of wilted spinach, a few tea bags, red cabbage, food colouring and turmeric. I'm going to start by making a red cabbage dye. I'm going to put a little bit of the end of my red cabbage in a pan, which is on the hob. Going to put a small amount of hot water in. The more water you put in, the more diluted it will be, the less, the more concentrated. And I only want to make a very small amount of dye as well. So just going to judge this by eye. The longer we leave it on, the more concentrated it's going to be. So I'm just going to leave that to simmer away for a bit. Next I'm going to do some turmeric dye. Just going to pop a bit in a bowl. I've put quite a lot in, it doesn't need to be that much, a bit much fell out. A bit of hot water and give it a stir. You can do this on the pan, on the hob, but I don't want to stain my saucepans because I quite like them. So I'm just going to do it in a bowl, then give it a strain to remove all the bits of powder before you paint with it, and leave it for about half an hour to cool down before you start to use it. And finally, I'm going to use some spinach. I've got some wilted spinach here, which is quite close to its use by date. I use about a quarter of the pack, just a tiny amount of water because the colour's quite faded. I want it to be a little bit more concentrated. And I'm going to leave that for about half an hour. I'm just going to judge by eye. I've popped a little bit of apple cider vinegar in. That's normally for dyeing as a mordant to help it fix to the fabrics, but I want to see how it comes out. Oh, and one more. I think I'm going to do a bit of tea ink. So I'm going to pop some tea bags in my pan. If you've already used them, that's the best way of recycling. I'm just going to pop 3 in. Like I said, I'm just making a very small amount. If you were making a dye and you're going to dye fabrics with it, you'd use a lot more because you'd need a lot more. We just need a very small amount of inks here for our paintings because, like I said, the ink doesn't last that long, so we just want a small amount so we can do a few paintings. So I'm just popping that on the hob with a very small amount of water. As with everything, the less water you add, the more concentrated it will be, the more diluted. I'm going to pop a bit of honey in just to get it to fix to the paper. I don't have much of that left. I'm going to grab a bit more. I've got another pot. So the honey's not essential, but it just helps it to fix to the paper a bit better. It makes it a little bit less runny. So I'm just going to pop in like a teaspoon or 2 of honey. There we go. Pop a little bit more and give it a stir. And again, just going to judge this by eye. The longer you leave it to heat up, the more concentrated, the darker the colour will be. If you took it out like this, you'd have a much lighter yellowy brown shade. This works really well with coffee as well. If you have any coffee, I don't drink coffee. I'm just trying to use what I've got to cut down on waste as much as possible. So I'm just going to leave that to simmer for a bit until I have got the shade which I would like to use. Just give it a stir around, get all of the juices out of the tea bags. And yeah, just leave that to simmer and condense down. Hey, so I'm going to do some experimentation now, and here are my dyes. Red cabbage, it's gorgeous, isn't it? The turmeric, it's been strained now. The tea, the spinach has come up quite lightly actually, and I've got some food colouring too. I've got green, red and yellow. I've just decanted it into smaller containers. About half a cup of water, and I've got some brushes. I'm going to use a little bit of watercolour paper. It's really good practice to just see how things come out. You can keep these as record cards. So I'm going to try my tea. That's really nice. Turmeric. Lovely earthy shades here. Really like this. This is the spinach. Can't see it that well. It might just be a good stain to start with. Oh, the red cabbage. That's lovely. And obviously the longer you leave that on the hob, the more concentrated the colour. Food colourings. Oh, I spilt a bit of the food colouring in the red cabbage, that's come out really nicely. That's the green. Because as we're wet painting, if you saw my first video, we want to see how the colours come out on top of each other while they're still wet. And the food colourings are just really nice to give it that lift, that pop. I'm going to start with my big sheet of A3 paper now. I'm going to work intuitively like I did on the last video, because I find when I'm thinking about the results aren't as good. So I just want to use this as my playtime to experiment, to learn, see what comes up. Starting with my tea, keeping it nice and wet. Then I'm going to drop on a little bit of the turmeric. I really love these earthy tones. My practice is, oh wow, look at that. Yeah, sorry, my practice is inspired from inner child healing and vintage memorabilia, nostalgia. And if you look at lots of children's books, they tend to use these lovely vintage children's books, these lovely earthy tones. I'm going to try a bit of the red cabbage on top. Oh, that's lovely. Sometimes I'm very tempted to work with vibrant colours, but I really, really like this. And yeah, just going to work intuitively, keep it wet, pop a bit of the red food colouring on. Wow. And the key is just to working very quickly while it's still wet, watching everything run. And just adding a bit more water on top, moving things together. Just play, just experiment, see what happens. Don't put any pressure on a final outcome. And I've learned how to do this through an amazing social enterprise organisation called Sunny Jar Eco Hub, who I deliver lots of workshops for. I've made them a collaborator on this, so please check them out. They've got some brilliant videos and ideas on how to live sustainably and help save the planet as you do so. They do a lot of workshops in zero waste living, and also craft-based workshops. And yeah, I do a lot of workshops for them, and through working with them, I learned how to make my own dyes like this, and I just absolutely loved it. And I deliver a lot of workshops in this as well, and also through Sunny Jar. So please do check them out. They've got some really brilliant ideas on their page. Really good. There we go. So I love this tone, this shade from the cabbage, from the red cabbage. It's a lovely grey tone. I love it. And you can just use water just to make the little channels between the pictures of the shapes, and just watch the ink run from one shape to the next. And just be open-minded. Just be open-minded about what you're going to try out, how it's going to work. I sometimes say to keep either warm colours together or cool colours. I'm going to be quite brave here. I just want to see what happens. And the food colourings are really good just because they're so vibrant, whereas these shades are more from the food. The dyes we've made are quite earthy, quite faded. So a little bit of the food colouring just really makes areas pop, really stand out. I love this tea. I love the stains from that. And like I say, the longer you leave it on the hob, the more concentrated it will be. Works really well with coffee as well. If you drink coffee, I don't drink coffee, so I don't have any in. Oh, look at that blue on top. Look at the red cabbage merging with the brown, with those earth tones. That's lovely. Sort of resembling a bit of a floral print. My own practice I don't tend to work with florals that much. But just for my experiments, these are coming out really nicely. The key is, remember, just keep it wet. Just keep working on top of it while it's wet. And this is how the colours will run into each other. You can always use a little bit of water if you want, just to spread it out and just to watch the colours run a little bit. There we go, and I think I'm coming to an end now. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this.